Hey everybody, today I have a couple of projects lined up. You may recall yesterday, if you watched the video from yesterday, we potted these petunias in the large pots here, and I talked about these pots down here that I've tried using live plants in the past, but either they just don't get enough sun and they look horrible, but most of the time they don't even last that long. The wild javelinas love this yard and they would devour whatever was in these pots from a living plant perspective. So I mentioned that I have a solution that was coming from Amazon. It arrived, so I'm going to go ahead and show you what I will do with these pots. And then I have a small one back here in the corner. We'll do the same thing. And then there's another pot just at the end of the sidewalk that I'm going to kind of replicate what we do here. So we'll cover that. I haven't told Aiden yet, but there's a couple of big pots over here that we relocated from the end of the driveway that I'm going to use up close to the garage. The end of the driveway, I got much bigger pots, and the pots that I replaced those with, I need to use for a barrel cactus that's getting ready to explode out of its current pot that it's in. So let me show you what that looks like. So these are the new, very large pots that I installed at the end of the driveway. These are still being planted up. I've mentioned in previous videos I'm waiting for Vinca to come out. It normally comes out towards the end of March, the first part of April. So we'll get these finished up here in the near future. These are the pots that were at the end of the driveway, and my plan is to reuse these up here. So I have these barrel cactus that are in these current pots, and this one is starting to crack right outside of its pot. So my plan is I am going to take these out, which I have no idea what I'm going to get myself into. I have no idea what the root system looks like on these. These are at least 8 years old, and they were, a fair size, when I purchased them. They've obviously gotten much bigger over 8 years. They have a couple little babies there. So my plan is I'm gonna tip this over on its side and pull this barrel cactus out, and then ultimately replant at least one of them back in these brown pots, and then kind of figure out how I can intermingle this brown pot up where the barrel cactus is that I'm going to repot. So I've got some maneuvering around. Hopefully it'll work. If not, then I'll have to find somewhere else in the yard for these big pots. The other thing I have lined up is I purchased this yesterday, captured another video. I really like the structure here. I did find a skinny pot that I want to plant this into. Currently, the pot that I'm going to use has a Sego palm in it. That Sego palm does not look healthy. Also, if you don't know, Sego palms are very poisonous. I've never had a problem with my dogs, but the fact that it just doesn't look good and the fact that it's majorly poisonous, I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of it, but reuse the pot for this. So I'll repot that in that Sego palm pot. And then back here in the back, I have some Gerber daisies, and I discovered that one of the barrels that I plan to put these Gerber daisies in, the dirt has dropped a good 6 or 7 inches. So normally these Gerber daisies would die back in the wintertime, but we had a very mild winter, so they look really good. I'm still going to go ahead and dig them up, put some fresh soil in the pot, and then replant them. And then I have some new Gerber daisies that I'm just going to intermingle with this pot that I'm going to repot, as well as some of these other ones along here. So that's my aspirational plan for the day. I first of all have to go harass Aiden to help me move these really large pots. They're very, very heavy, so I absolutely have to rely on his assistance. So we'll get started with these projects. So here's my solution. I purchased these on Amazon. This is the second year that I'm going to use these. These are artificial flowers, and if you'd asked me a couple years ago if I would ever use artificial flowers in the yard, I would have laughed at you. But because these pots are so problematic, I thought I would give it a shot. I really searched for artificial flowers that looked as real as they could be. These have a ton of comments. I'll include the link in Amazon. And sure enough, I used these last year and I thought they looked fantastic. So I'm gonna do it again this year, and I'll just kind of show you here what I do. These pots are filled with dirt, and the reason why I have dirt is I could use styrofoam or some other backfill material, but these are perfect for sticking these in, and it really holds them in place. These come in multiple colors, and I do intermingle the colors. I think these were like $18 a package, so it's enough to really fill in these pots. And once I get it in, I'll show you what it looks like from the street. You cannot tell that these are fake, other than the fact that they'll always be blooming, but I'm okay with that. But the javelina, luckily, don't like the taste of these plastic flowers. And you can see it's starting to fill up this pot very nicely. And you can pull these apart and you can get them arranged so that it fills up nicely, hides the dirt. And unless my neighbors watch this video, several, when I'm out in the yard, will be like, oh my God, your flowers on your front porch are absolutely beautiful. Now they could be talking about the petunias, which are alive, but I kind of suspect that they're talking about these, and they are beautiful. I mean, even up close, they look pretty darn good to me, other than the fact that I know that these are fake. I think they look pretty awesome. Now you're gonna laugh. I do every once in a while give these a little spray with the hose, just to keep the dust off of them. Here in Tucson, it's very windy. It's very windy today, in fact. And there's just always a fair amount of dust up in the air. And these eventually get a little coating of dust on it and they just wash right off. It doesn't harm the flowers at all. But look at how instant it made this pot, I think, look pretty incredible. So I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side, and then I have a pot here at the end of the sidewalk that I'm gonna do the same thing. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments. Do you think it looks cheesy? Because if it does, you'll please tell me, my feelings won't be hurt. Or do you think it looks pretty darn good? I'll show you again what it looks like from the street view, but I don't know. Good solution if you have a shady area, or if you have those nasty wild pigs that come up on your front porch and eat stuff that they shouldn't. I'll try to get a video one evening of the javelinas when I catch them on the front porch, so you can kind of see what I'm talking about if you've never heard of them. I'm from Chicago. I've never heard of wild pigs roaming the streets of Tucson, but they absolutely do out in this neighborhood. So it's definitely something to see. At any rate, I will go ahead and get started on these other pots. So last year in the fall, I went ahead and removed these. They still were in really good shape. So a couple didn't look good, but the ones that were in really good shape, I went ahead and just stored. So I'm reusing some of these. The reason why I pull it out is clearly everyone would know that they're fake if they're blooming like this in December. So I don't want all the neighbors to know I use fake flowers. Hopefully they don't watch this channel. And if you are a neighbor and you tell anybody else. But I do take these out because I decorate these pots. I put little Christmas trees and ornaments in it. You'll see that at the end of this year. But they look super cute when I do that. And again, if these were out here in December and January, you would clearly know that they're fake. But these left over from last year still look really good. I'm able to fill in some of the blank areas with the new ones I just purchased. all in. I like the way it turned out. I'm gonna throw one more yellow one in here. And you can kind of look, and if you can see dirt, you can add more, or you can spread these out. Again, I use dirt. You could put styrofoam in there, but if you have white styrofoam or beige styrofoam, you're more likely to see that through these plants than you are dirt. And also, if people walk up and they see dirt, they're going to think maybe they're real plants. So these two are done. Now I'm going to do the one here at the end of the sidewalk. Now, some of you might be thinking about how your grandmother used to have fake flowers, and gosh, back in the day, my grandmother's fake flowers looked like fake flowers, but artificial flowers have come a long way. And I think these are a good representation of how far they have really come. The wind is doing its best to work against me today. And now I'm just kind of filling in the blank spots. Again, these run $18 a pack, and you get a pretty healthy quantity of them with each pack. I will absolutely be sure to include the link on Amazon. Check it out. You can see the reviews. They're all pretty good reviews, and that's certainly what helps me make my buying decision. You can come back here if and I might do it if I want to add some height to this pot. I might put some stalks of something in it just to give it some additional visual appeal and interest. But again, I think these have turned out. If you think otherwise, please let me know in the video. I'll be super curious of what your thoughts are. And now I'll show you what this looks like from the street. So here's a view from the street as folks are walking or driving by. That's what they would see. And certainly as you're walking up on the sidewalk. I just think it gives a nice first impression. And while I'm at it, I think I can take down my Mardi Gras wreath, and I'm going to go grab my spring wreath and show you what it looks like. It's going to definitely add some more color up here. All right, so this is the Mardi Gras wreath. I actually missed Mardi Gras this year, but I put it up the day after, and it's been up since. But I think it's okay to take it down now that I'm starting to add some additional color to the front porch. I get these wreaths from John Mark's Enterprise. You can Google those. I'll include the link as well in the video. This is a florist located in Nashville that makes up these wreaths. They are pricey, but they're an investment because you can use them over and over and over again. You do have to protect them. I do put them in plastic, and I just hang them on a hanger in the closet actually. But I just love them. So we'll go ahead and take down this Mardi Gras wreath. It just has a little hook on the back, like so. And I'm going to grab the wreath that I'm going to use. This is a blooming forsythia. And just look at the colors here. I'll make sure that my bee knocker can still be seen. Needs to be fluffed a little bit. And this definitely makes a statement from the street and as people walk up. I have another one that's just as colorful with pink flowers that I'll probably interchange each weekend for the next several weeks during the spring until I put out the summer, or actually I have an Easter wreath that I might put up during the Easter time. These ribbons are made, they have a nice thick wire in them so you can kind of reshape them, you know, how you want to shape them. Again, a little pricey from John Mark's Enterprise, but I think it's worth the investment. Again, let me know in the comments what you think. So I think we're done with the front porch for now, and I'm not looking forward to repotting the barrel cactus. That's going to be quite the effort, but we'll get it done. All right. I am kind of dreading this, but I figure once I start, I have to finish. So I'm just going to dive right in. My plan is I'm going to lay this barrel cactus on its side. I have no idea what the root structure looks like after it being in this pot for so long. But we're going to find out. And I laid down this moving blanket. I have probably 100 of these moving blankets. They're not super thick, but they're awesome if you're going to have a hard freeze or a frost. Here in Tucson, out in the area that I'm in, there are some nights that can get down into the high 20s, the very low 30s, and that's when I drag these out, and there's certain things that I like to cover. I did not have to do that at all this year. But these are also good when you're planting to catch, you know, some of the dirt that's going to fall out, just to help keep your mess under control. So that's why I have the moving blanket down. I don't even know how heavy this is. So this is an authentic video. What you see is exactly what's going to happen. Unless it's really bad, then I'll edit it out. But, and again, the wind is not being my friend here. But here goes nothing. I am, just to be safe, I have welding gloves, and welding gloves work really well if you're working with a cactus that has these big spiny thorns that are just eager to embed themselves inside of you. So I can put my hands on this and not get poked. Now, every once in a while, one will make its way through, but nothing like if I just took my hands, my bare hands, and did this. So you can see I'm actually using my hand here to prevent it from slamming down. And there we go. I did get a few pokes. But again, nothing like if I did not have protection on my hands. So really recommend, if you're messing with cactus like this, to get yourself some of these welding gloves. They will do absolute wonders. So now that I have it on its side, I think I'm just going to pick the pot up and see. It shouldn't hurt it if I set it up on its head and see if I can get this pot off. Ooh, easier said than done. Yeah. I'm hoping that I don't have to cut the pot out, but I do see a lot of roots at the bottom, so this thing probably has some pretty deep roots. The pot is already cracked. I'm sure the roots are just waiting to break out of here, so I think I'm going to find a way to just cut the pot. So while I figure that out, I'm going to go ahead and stop the video. We'll pick up back here in a few minutes. All right, so I got a rubber mallet and I tried tapping it on the sides to see if that would loosen it up. It did not work. So I've enlisted the help of Aiden, and we're going to start the process of actually cutting the pot off. You have to do this sometimes. Again, this pot was already cracked. It's probably going on 9 years old. It's kind of a plastic material. So while I would have liked to have reused the pot, I'm not disappointed or sad that I'm going to have to cut it up, because I definitely want to get this repotted, and sometimes that's what you have to do. So we'll start the cutting process.
I was gonna do this side.
Yeah.
You want me to cut the bottom off?
Sure. All right, so this should make it a lot easier to get out of this pot.
I can cut the other sides.
Why don't we... I'm gonna roll it this way, I think. And why don't you cut this side where it's already cracked? Yeah, so it's a good thing that I'm not reusing this pot, because it's very brittle just because of the age and the heat and the sun that this gets. You can see this root system goes all the way to the bottom of the pot. So, gosh, this is probably a 2-foot pot. So there's 2 feet of roots. I am gonna disturb the roots to kind of get back into its new pot. But let's go ahead and just...
Looks like it's just gonna come out.
Yeah, it's just gonna fall out, and it's probably gonna separate here, which is okay. Yeah. So now Aiden doesn't know it, but we're gonna move that brown pot from over there to over here, and then we're gonna figure out how to dig a hole in that pot, because it already has soil in it, and we're gonna figure out how to lift this up into the new pot. He just said, well, that's easy. I don't think he realizes how much this weighs. But I'm going to go ahead and mess with the dirt here, get it ready to be lifted into its new pot, and then we'll come back.
Ugh.
I thought that was pretty easy.
I hate you.
We're going to use a ratchet strap.
Which we got from Home Depot.
I would really recommend that when you're moving a pot like this, that you use a ratchet strap. It just ensures that minimal can go wrong. This is a pretty heavy pot. The pot just by itself probably weighs 150, 200 pounds. And then you add in the dirt, we're probably up to 350, 400 pounds. So it's not light.
Okay. It is one way.
We're going to have to maneuver it around a little bit. It's a lot easier to move when you're not having to lift it up. But we'll get that figured out for sure. Now, I measured the root ball. It's about 15 inches. So I'm gonna dig out a hole that's about 16 inches wide, 15 inches deep. And the thought is that we'll just be able to drop it in the hole. But we'll see how that goes. So this is what the hole looks like. You can see I've made it to kind of match the base there. And the thought is that we'll lift it up and plop it right in this hole. We have to be careful not to hit the edges, because if we hit the bottom of that root ball on these edges, they'll collapse in. It'll just kind of make the whole situation more difficult. So we'll have to be really crisp on landing this right in that hole. And then I can, once it's in the hole, then I can push some of this dirt around the root base and get it locked into place. So we'll get ready to do that, and then of course we'll show you that process of lifting this thing up and getting it inside this hole perfectly. So we have a cactus mat here. It's like a gurney for our cactus. And we're going to pick the head of the cactus up. I'll kind of guide the root system at the same time. Famous last words, maybe. Or Aiden will pick up. So Aiden's gonna lift up, and then I'm gonna do my best to guide the roots into the hole. All right.
Well,
There we have it.
should I wrap around and lift a little so you can raise it?
All right, let it go.
Go to the other side. Try not to hurt these babies.
All right.
Go back.
Okay. What do you think?
Pretty centered, honestly.
Yeah.
Stabbing ball of death.
Yeah, so I think, boy, that was definitely a two-person job. So I'm going to add in some more dirt, and then we'll figure out how to get this better positioned. And now you can see I've got a lot of dirt and debris. I'm just going to take a little paintbrush. That'll get in between the spines. We'll get all that dirt. All right, so I have it pretty much where I would like it. I'll probably still play around with it a little bit, but I'm relieved that this is now in a bigger pot. And I do like how it's positioned here. Helps break up the concrete madness. This one still is going to have to be repotted in the other brown pot, and it will, sit somewhere in this general vicinity. Haha. So that will take some work to get that figured out. I am not going to repot this one today. That'll be a project another day in the near future. But I am going to repot that Sego palm. So I'm going to go grab it in its pot and remove it, and then plant the new plant that I got yesterday. So be right back. So here's the Sego palm that I was talking about. You can see it does not look its best. The sun got at it last year. And I'm just not a fan of these. Whenever I rub up against it, I tend to break out in a little rash. I don't know if I'm allergic to it or if it's just the pokey spines that it has. But It's also very poisonous to humans and pets. I'm not worried about my pets eating it so much, although it would be deadly if they did. So you have to be really careful with these. These are beautiful in the right landscaping, but you would want to keep your pets away from them for sure. In my case, I'm just going to get rid of it altogether. It was a bad purchasing decision. I could trim it up and try to plant it in the front yard, but I just don't want to deal with it. I'm just going to cut my loss, but I am going to reuse the pot for the plant that I bought yesterday. So we'll start getting this one out of here. It seems pretty loose. The soil is really dropped in it. So it will definitely be a lot easier than the barrel cactus that we just did. I'm just going to turn this on its side. Yeah, this came out a lot easier. I am going to reuse this dirt in the bottom of this pot, so I'm going to go ahead and get as much off this as I can. Again, I'm not worried about damaging the root ball because I'm going to get rid of the plants altogether. No sense in wasting the soil. And then I'm going to reuse some of the soil that's left over from the repotting of the barrel cactus. So I'm going to go grab the plant that I'm going to put in here so we can determine how high this soil needs to be, and we'll get it planted up here. So this is the plant that I plan to put in this pot. I think I'm going to like it because this will be able to drape down over the sides of the pot. And this is the pot that it came in. I clearly have too much dirt, so I'm going to take some dirt out. The good news is I can set this down in the pot, and if I don't like it and I need to add more dirt, I can just lift it out, unlike that barrel cactus was a little bit of a challenge. Yeah, so I need to take out just a little bit more dirt. I'll try it again. Still going to take out a little bit more, I think. All right, I think that's about where I want it. All right, I've used all the dirt that came out of this. I'm going to grab some of the dirt that was left over from the repotting of the barrel cactus behind me. And there we have it. This will continue to grow and drape down over the pot, which I think will look cool. Not sure how long these branches will get, but they'll definitely get longer. And I think it'll just be an interesting look for sure. What do you think? Let me know in the comments if you like it in the pot or if you think I should have put it in the ground. I was just worried if I put it in the ground these branches are so long that it would have just looked weird to me. So I think the pot was the best solution in this case, but certainly curious what your opinion would be. And I think, at least for right now, I'm going to position it right in front of these other pots. So we'll put it there and see what that looks like. All right, so this is what it looks like currently in front of the garage. I'm not sure if I'm going to leave this here or not. I need to read up on it and just see what the sun requirements are and such. I'm not exactly sure. I know they had it covered at the nursery when I bought it yesterday. They said that they were just getting used to the sun, but I'll read up on how much sun it gets and how much is too much and all that good stuff. But I would kind of like to leave it here because it does give some visual interest. I like the coloring and would love to keep it here, but if I need to move it, that's the nice thing about container gardening. You can move these around wherever you want. So this particular project is done. I'm going to keep to my laundry list of things I want to get done today. The last thing on the list is repotting those Gerber daisies, so we'll head over in the back and get that started. That should only take a couple minutes and should be the easiest job of the day, other than those artificial flowers that we planted earlier. So we'll get this done. All right, so this is the barrel that the dirt has dropped about 6 inches. I could leave it like that, but it's not good for these Gerber daisies to be that low down in the pot. I could risk some rot. So I'm going to go ahead and pull these up. My plan is to replant these immediately after I add in some soil and some fertilizer. I don't think the root base is going to be that difficult. There is some ivy in here. I'll try to pull that up too. I'm not super concerned about the ivy because it grows like a weed, but we'll see if we can get these out of here right quick. There we go. This will give me an opportunity to remove any dead leaves. And now I'm going to replant these. We'll start with this ivy. And I don't really need it, but I am going to add in a yellow one. I'm going to add one more. They'll stop blooming as much. The green will kind of stay. And then after we get out of the hot season, I'll call it, these will start to bloom again in the fall. So definitely heavy bloomers now in the spring and a little bit lighter blooming in the fall. But we're done. So it's been a busy day today, starting with the fronts, the barrel cactus, replacing the Sego palm, repotting this pot of Gerber daisies. So I think we got a lot accomplished. I'm gonna call it a day. If you enjoy seeing these videos and you haven't subscribed, would certainly invite you to subscribe. It definitely helps me out. And if you like what you see, let me know. If you have any suggestions, recommendations, or things that I'm doing that you wouldn't, or things that you think I should consider, please drop that in the comments. With that, we'll get out of here. Thanks, everybody.